Welcome to the Micro-Focused Identity and Access Management video series. My name is Kent Purdy, Product Marketing Manager for Access Management.
And I'm Paul McKeith, Identity and Access Management Specialist.
For this video in our series, we're going to show how easy it is to configure Access Manager to secure your own cloud apps. So Paul, let's say I've never seen or used Access Manager before.
You've never seen or used Access Manager before?
No, let's just say I haven't seen or used Access Manager before. How hard is it?
Well, at one time it used to be a lot more involved, but we've done a lot of things over the past few years. It's actually pretty slick and easy now. So why don't we go ahead and just show you how to do it as opposed to talk about it.
Okay.
So we started out already. We're here inside of the Access Manager Administration Console. If you looked at some of our videos, you've seen this before, or if you haven't. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this Applications link. So when I go to the Applications link, you're going to, first of all, on the left-hand side, see all the applications I've already integrated and I've already used. But to build those, I've gone to our Application Connector Catalog. So simply hit the plus, hit the Add Application Catalog, and then search for your particular application. Now, this catalog is constantly growing. We have a team of people that are adding more and more to these all of the time. But if there's one of interest, and this one's always of interest, it seems, Office 365, we can see that we have a connector that we can choose. So all I have to do is select that connector. And then from here, it's going to walk me through, consider this a wizard. Okay. It's going to walk me through all of the pieces that I need to configure. And just make sure whenever you're doing this, you might even see destination URL. I'm not really sure what that is. Okay. Put your mouse over this guy, and it will give you a little hint. And this is very specific to the application that we're looking at, what that hint is. What you see there is going to be different for every application. Right. Okay. Then you go through this particular one here, this section, and then you go to the next section, and you configure that one. So attributes, if you're not familiar, this is basically how Office 365 is going to match your identity on your internal network to your identity in the cloud in Office 365 so that we make sure we get the right person that's secure.
So I'm going to assume these parameters are going to be easy to find from your 365 administrator? Or?
They are. So, on this side, this is really the immutable ID and UPN those are in every Office 365. So yes, absolutely. Okay. And then what we're going to map those values to are going to be inside of your LDAP directory, whether that's eDirectory or Active Directory, even another one. You can tell this is just a browse list for all your attributes. So it's really easy for you to find. Now, the access and roles, we would go down in here. And when you look at this is a way for me to limit, based on your role, Kent, if you're an Office 365 user or not, if you ever see this icon or if you can ever use Office 365 or not. So it does two things. It will show you in some other videos that you may have already seen that it's going to populate an icon to be able to single sign on and get to it really quickly. That's going to be controlled by this. But also, even if you get access, it'll put the authorization controls on there for you.
Okay, cool.
Then the last thing is the system setup. And frankly, this is where the area of things traditionally in the SAML Federation world got difficult. And so what we'll do here is that there's always this thing called metadata. If you're lucky, the service provider published it. It was easy to get to. If not, you kind of had to write it yourself, and it could be a pain sometimes. We have some cool solutions to help customers way back when we didn't have this wizard. But again, we add this information in here. This is also information that you have to take and give to Office 365 or ServiceNow, Concur, Workday, all of those vendors, right? Because it's a trust relationship whenever you're doing this. You have to exchange this data. Two things you have to exchange is the metadata and the infamous signing certificate or certificates. Certificates are always a pain. So what we do is we give you the ability to download that certificate just by clicking a button. Right. If you want to look at the certificate, you just mouse over here and click on this and you can look at your particular certificate. This goes in and finds a certificate from your system that you've used that you've configured in Access Manager, so it's quick and easy.
I like that.
But we're not quite done yet. So here's where the hard part comes in. The hard part, that's all you have to do in Access Manager. Now you're done. Now you got to go do all that other stuff in this case, Office 365. This show button is the magic button. Okay? So when you click show, this is going to have the step-by-step instructions, not for our side, but the step-by-step instructions for Office 365. And it's going to tell you everything that you're going to need and where to do it in Office 365. Now, the end result of this, I already have Office 365 installed here and running, so I'm going, and it's shown in some of our other videos, where this is what I've already configured.
Right.
And so you can see I've already got my entity ID for Microsoft. That actually won't change. Here are my attributes that I've mapped. Here are my accesses and roles. So remember I mentioned I have a role that says only for Office 365 available.
Right. Yep.
Then I'm going to require a very specific means of authentication. So this is kind of what we showed in some of our other videos with risk-based authentication. So this is a way for me to define a very specific type of authentication that's required before somebody gets access to.
So if you need to,
Office
they can do like a
365.
two-factor authentication.
That's exactly what that's going to do. You got to go see the other video, though. I'm not going to show you that.
Okay, will do.
Okay. And then again, that system setup, and this is just a repeat of the other, except that you can tell that my certificate has been configured and everything is done.
Well, that was pretty
That's
slick,
it.
right?
That's
quick.
all there is to it.
Yeah.
You just simply, find the application you need, go ahead and add that in there.
Thanks, Paul. That was really slick.
You're welcome, Ken.
If you haven't visited Access Manager's connector catalog yet, you might be surprised to find a connector that you really need. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos in this series.